Welcome students to online history classes. This time the topic is Banda Singh Bahadur, and under this topic we will be discussing the causes for his early success and later failure. So, what made Banda Singh Bahadur successful in the initial or the early stages? Now, I have about 2 to 3 slides on why he was successful. One, unbearable atrocities of the Mughals. Number two, the Hukamnamas of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Number three, inefficient successors of Aurangzeb. Efficient administration of Banda Singh Bahadur. Early exploits were against petty local Mughal officials, efficient leadership of Banda Singh Bahadur, the hilly areas of Punjab. So these are the reasons that we will be discussing why Banda Singh Bahadur was victorious in his initial stages. Now, first is unbearable atrocities of the Mughal. Now, you know that the Mughal rulers of Punjab had become the sworn enemies of the Sikh. The Faujdar of Sarhand, Wazir Khan, had bricked alive younger Sahibzadas Zorawar Singh and Fateh Singh. He was also responsible for the martyrdom of Sahibzada Ajit Singh and Jujar Singh. They were martyred in Battle of Chamkaur Sahib. Wazir Khan hired Pathan who fatally wounded Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So all these factors united the Sikh against Wazir Khan under the command of Banda Singh Bahadur. They all felt that their common enemy is Mughals, and they all felt united to fight against Mughals under the banner of Banda Bahadur. So maybe the initial success that he faced was because of the unity among the Sikh. Okay. Number two, why he was victorious in the early stages, the Hukamnamas of Guru Gobind Singh. The Punjabis, particularly the Sikh, were out and out determined to bring an end to the tyrannical rule of the Mughals. They were inspired by the Hukamnamas of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and these were dispatched through Banda Bahadur. Guru, through these Hukamnama, what had he written in these orders? He had asked the Sikh to unite under the command of Banda Singh Bahadur, and Sikh obeyed these orders in letter and spirit. Their unbound cooperation became a major factor for the military success of Banda Singh Bahadur. Because these Hukamnamas, through their Hukamnamas, they felt it is the order of Guru Gobind Singh Ji to actually help Banda Singh Bahadur to become united as a force under the commandship of Banda Singh Bahadur. So maybe this was also the reason why he was victorious. So first, because the unbearable atrocities or the tyrannies of the Mughal united the Sikh, and they wanted to fight against him under the banner of Banda Singh Bahadur. Number two, the Hukamnamas of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Number three. Now, we know that the initial, the conquest, like against Sonipat, against Samana, Ghuram, Mustafabad, Kapuri, Sadora. Just excuse me if I omit some places, then your Sarhand. Now, all these areas which he was fighting, he was not fighting against the Mughal army, he was fighting against the Faujdar. But the question arises in our mind that why wasn't the Mughal army or the Mughal emperor fighting against Banda Singh Bahadur? The reason is because Aurangzeb died in 1707, so there was a war of succession among his sons. Prince Muzahim assumed the royal title of Bahadur Shah, found the kingdom in total chaos and disorder. So for him, Punjab was only a Suba, only a province of the whole Mughal Empire, so he did not pay any attention towards Punjab. After his death in 1712, once again the war of succession took place. This time the ruler was Jahandar Shah, and he was an absolutely inefficient sultan. His illicit relations with a prostitute and a lack of administrative capabilities wrenched the threads of the kingdom. So Banda Bahadur could achieve success after success because none of the Mughal army or the Mughal emperors were actually there to fight against him. Number four, see, these are the factors. Okay, you can talk about the unbearable atrocities of the Mughal, the Hukamnamas of Guru Gobind Singh. Maybe he was not fighting against the Mughal emperors, but on the other hand, we cannot deny the efficient administration of Banda Singh Bahadur. He was a great administrator. All the places conquered by him were efficiently administered. High, able, and honest officials were given top ranking administrative jobs. He tried to bring the downtrodden, deserving people to manage the administrative setup. The aim of the land to the tiller was fulfilled. He abolished the zamindari system. That means the land belonged to the farmer, to the tiller who actually farmed on those lands. Impartial justice was given to all. So, this was also the reason why he was successful in the initial period. Then, fifth, as I have discussed previously also, that the early exploits were against petty local Mughal officials, not against Mughal army. With the exception of Sirhind, Banda Singh Bahadur's early military exploits were directed against petty and weak Mughal officials who were no match for their forces. The local inhabitants were fed up with the atrocities of the Mughal officials, thus even they readily cooperated with Banda Singh Bahadur to get rid of them. Now, the central administration or the central polity of the government could not provide any help to these petty Mughal officials. That naturally became one of the factors why Banda Singh Bahadur was victorious in the initial period. Then, the efficient leadership, we had talked about the efficient administration given by Banda Singh Bahadur, but even as a leader, he was an efficient military commander. He was an expert in the art of warfare and led his soldiers quite efficiently. He also received cooperation from brave warriors like Bad Singh, Binod Singh, Fateh Singh, and Kahan Singh. So these are some of the factors which led to the early successes of the Banda Singh Bahadur. Just quickly, we will repeat. Number one, unbearable atrocities of the Mughals, Hukamnamas of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, inefficient successors of Aurangzeb, efficient administration of Banda Singh Bahadur, early exploits were against petty local Mughal officials, efficient leadership of Banda Singh Bahadur, and the last point is the hilly areas of Punjab. Now, the hills of Punjab were also an important factor for his initial success. In 1710, when the Mughal governor Munim Khan suddenly attacked Lohgarh, the capital of Banda Bahadur, it was not possible for him to continue the military struggle against the Mughal for a very long time. And this time, he was not fighting against any Faujdar, he was fighting against the Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah. At that time, the hills of Nahan gave him the required shelter. It is here he got time to consolidate his military strength and later on could conquer many parts of Punjab. So these were the factors why he was victorious in the early stages. But we also know that later on he failed. Now, what could be the reasons for his failure? Now, when we are on one side, we are talking efficient leadership, efficient administrative structure that he had built up, the hilly areas helped him. Now, what could be the reasons why he failed in the end? So let's have a look at them. Now, one, the strength of the Mughal Empire, lack of organization among the Sikh, violation of instructions by Banda Singh Bahadur, opposition of Hindu chiefs and landlords, measures of Farrukh Siyar against the Sikh, surprise attack on the Sikh at Gurdas Nangal, differences between Banda Singh Bahadur and Binod Singh. So these were the reasons why he was a failure in the end. So let's just study them one by one. Now, strength. Now, as we discussed, because his initial conquests were against the Faujdars, not against the Mughal Empire. Now, one of the important causes of Banda Singh Bahadur's failure was that he had to fight against an empire, Mughal Empire, which was quite vast and powerful at that time. On the other hand, the resources with Banda Singh Bahadur was very limited as compared to Mughals. Even his number of soldiers, the weapons, ammunition was very small when compared to the Mughal army. Besides, other than plundering, they had no source of income. Under such conditions, it was quite impossible for a person like Banda Bahadur to crush the mighty Mughal Empire. So this was one of the reasons why he failed in the end. We can say the limited resources as compared to the strength of the Mughal Empire. Number two, lack of organization among the Sikh. Now, we know that there was no formal training that was given to these soldiers. It was just the religious fervor that incited them to participate in the war. There is no doubt that in response to Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Hukamnama, thousands of Sikhs gathered under the banner of Banda Singh Bahadur. But these soldiers lacked organization and discipline. They did not fight according to a set plan. Banda Bahadur could not discipline his soldiers. As a result, it will not be a surprising factor that these soldiers who did not have their training and their discipline proper could stand against the mighty power. They could not have. So maybe the lack of organization and the lack of military training among the Sikh made an important factor of failure of Banda Bahadur against the mighty Mughal Empire. Now, this is very, very important. This has been discussed by lots of eminent historians. They talk that because Banda Singh Bahadur violated the instructions, so lot of Sikh they actually decided not to be a part of his army. Now, before Banda Singh Bahadur proceeded to Punjab, Guru Gobind Singh had given him some instructions. For some time, Banda Bahadur followed these instructions faithfully, but then he began to deviate from them. Against the advice of Guru Gobind Singh, he married the princess of Chamba and started a life of luxury. His victories and power made him haughty, and this is what Guru Gobind Singh had said, that don't let these victories elate your head. Beside, in place of Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, he introduced another thing, that is Fateh Darshan and Fateh Dharam. On the other hand, Guru had instructed him not to establish his own sect, to consider himself as the servant of Khalsa. Consequently, several devotees of Guru Gobind Singh Ji turned against him, and it ultimately weakened his power. So he betrayed the instructions which were given to him by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. He started living a life of luxury. He married the provinces of Chamba. Somewhere down the line, the victories and power made him arrogant, haughty, and instead of saying Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, he introduced Fateh Darshan and Fateh Dharam. So many of the devotees of Guru Gobind Singh Ji turned against him, and this proved to be a deciding factor in weakening his power. Then the opposition of the Hindu chiefs and landlords. In order to succeed in a struggle, it is essential that leaders of the struggle should have cooperation of the majority sections of the society. But this time, unfortunately, in this long drawn struggle against the Mughal, Banda Singh Bahadur failed to elicit the cooperation of the Hindu chief and the landlords, because he had abolished the system of zamindari, so he failed to get the support of the zamindars. Then, the measures of Farrukh Siyar against the Sikh. In 1713, Farrukh Siyar became the new emperor of the Mughal. He was very cruel, merciless ruler who could not tolerate the growing strength of the Sikh under Banda Bahadur. In order to crush the power of the Sikh, he appointed Abu Samad Khan, the Subedar of Lahore. He left no stone unturned to crush the power of the Sikh. Finally, he succeeded in arresting Banda Singh Bahadur and his fellow, and this proved a staggering blow for the rising power of the Sikh. Let's quickly move on to all the slides why he failed. One, the strength of the Mughal Empire, or the limited resources on the side of Banda Bahadur, the lack of organization and military training among the Sikh, the violation of instructions by Banda Singh Bahadur, opposition of Hindu chiefs and landlords, measures of Farrukh Siyar against the Sikh. Now, surprise attack on the Sikh at Gurdas Nangal. Abu Samad Khan made a sudden attack on Banda Singh Bahadur in April 1715. Banda Singh Bahadur and his fellow Sikh were besieged in the Haveli of Duni Chand. The Haveli was made up of unbaked brick. It was very easy to resist the Mughals it was not very easy to resist the Mughals for a very long time. Moreover, there were no arrangements for the supply of provisions for the prolonged siege. Now, despite these hardships, Banda Singh Bahadur sustained the resistance for 8 months, but after 8 months, they finally gave in because this time they had to face a Mughal mighty power at that time. They tried to resist by hiding in the Haveli of Doni Chand, but that was not all. That could not have helped them to resist the mighty power of the Mughal Empire. The last but not the least, the most important differences between Banda Singh Bahadur and Binod Singh. Now, differences crop between the two, as we had discussed before also. Now, Binod Singh felt that it was not possible to resist Mughals for a very long time. Already for 8 months they are resisting, and now they were actually living a life of an animal, eating the horses, the cattle, the mules. So it was not possible for them to resist even for a longer time. So he thought that we must leave the Haveli, mobilize the forces, and then attack once again. On the other hand, Banda Singh Bahadur was not prepared for this because he wanted the siege to be continued for a very short time now, and when the monsoons will come, the Mughals will they will be able to defeat the Mughals. On the other hand, because of these differences, Binod Singh with his companions fled from the place. So consequently, it became a major factor in the defeat in the end. Now, so just a quick revision because I thought that once when I end, I will give both the points to you. Now, what are the points which made him successful? One, unbearable atrocities of the Mughal, Hukamnamas of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, inefficient successors of Aurangzeb, efficient administration of Banda Singh Bahadur, early exploits were against petty local Mughal officials, efficient leadership of Banda Singh Bahadur, the hilly areas of Punjab. So, just a quick reminder of what we had done. The Mughals were committing unbearable tyrannies on the Sikh. They had martyred their sons, bricked alive the Sahibzadas, killed Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So people actually wanted to fight against Mughals, and Banda Singh Bahadur was their commander. The Guru had given the orders, and by this time, even the Mughal emperors were not bothered about Punjab because Punjab was only a province. And Aurangzeb here, after the death of Aurangzeb, there was a war of succession in which Prince Muzahim, now known as Bahadur Shah, was victorious. He became the next emperor. Then again, after his death, there was a war of succession, and finally Jahandar Shah, an inefficient ruler, comes on the throne. Then the Banda Singh Bahadur administered the areas that he annexed, and moreover, he gave a efficient leadership, and this was the reason why he was successful in the beginning. Moreover, these early exploits were against local Faujdars. We know that in Sonipat, the Faujdar, went even without resisting that. He was able to defeat Kadamuddin, the ruler of Kapuri. He was able to defeat Usman Khan of Sudora. He was also able to defeat in Samana Jalaluddin, Shashal Beg, and Bashal Beg. So all these people he was able to defeat because they were petty local Mughal officials. Then the hilly areas, as I told you, that the moment there was an attack on Logar and he felt that he was not in a position to resist, he just fled in the hills of Nahan, and once he mobilized his forces, he was back in the picture again. But then why he failed in the end? Because obviously because of the limited resources he had and the strength of the Mughal army. The Sikh soldiers were not properly organized. They were not trained to fight the Mughal army. Maybe they were trained to fight in terms of their religious fervor, to fight against the Faujdars, the petty officials. But when it came to fighting a Mughal army, they were not trained according to that. Banda Singh Bahadur violated the instructions. He got married to the chief of the princess of daughter of the chief of Chamba. Then he started living a luxurious life. He had become haughty. Instead of Vajiga Khalsa, he said Fateh Darshan and Fateh Dharam. So that way people said that he's demarcating from the instructions given to him by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Now, he also suffered the opposition of Hindu chief and the landlords, so he could not get the required unity from his own people of Punjab to fight against the Mughals. And we also cannot deny what kind of measures the Mughal ruler Farrukh Siyar took against the Sikh under his commander Abu Samad Khan. Then the surprise attack on the Sikh at Gurdas Nangal, the differences between Banda Singh Bahadur and Binod Singh sealed the fate which led to the ultimate failure of Banda Singh Bahadur, his martyrdom, right? Now, the next topic that after this is your the Mughal governors. Now, when we talk about the Mughal governors and we talk about the dark period of Sikh history, now here is where you have to remember. Now, after the death of Banda Singh Bahadur, we will not find any capable leader to lead the Sikh unless and until we have Bhai Mani Singh. Once he will unite the Dals Bandai Khalsa and Tat Khalsa, then we will have Nawab Kapoor Singh. So that is an altogether different story, but at least here you will understand that after Banda Singh Bahadur, there was no capable leader to lead the Sikh, and that is why the Sikh had to face the prosecution of the Mughal governors Abu Samad Khan, Zakaria Khan, Yahya Khan, and Mir Banu. So this video ends the most important topic, that is Banda Singh Bahadur. In part 1 we have talked about his early life. In part 2 we have talked about the conquest. In this video we have talked about why Banda Singh Bahadur was initially successful but later failed. So this is my video on Banda Singh Bahadur. I want to end by showing you some beautiful images, pictures on Banda Singh Bahadur. Right, this is on his martyrdom, and this brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any queries, please put your questions in the comment box. I will be more than happy to answer your queries. Thank you so much. See you in the next video, and the next video will be on Dal Khalsa.